Hi, and welcome to day 3 of the Easy English Fundamentals 7-day course. Today we're going to be talking about the theory of conversational English. Conversational English is the teaching style that we use at letsdoenglish.com. And you may be asking, why do I care? What is conversational English? How is that different than what I've studied in the past? I've studied English for years, so how is conversational English different? Well, those are excellent and very fair questions. Let me shine some light on the conversational English learning method and how that can help you to get to fluency fast. Conversational English is we really believe that it's the missing link, it's the key that unlocks your fluency, that unlocks your deep understanding of English. I mean, you've already studied English for years. You've studied lists of vocabulary. You've read books or studied textbooks. You've been to class. So why aren't you already fluent yet? Well, in the methods that you've studied in the past, there's something missing. And that missing piece is conversational English. And the reason why this matters is because scientifically, conversation is very different than learning out of a book or a textbook. I can prove this with an easy test that you can do right now. Go find any book that you have, especially a book with great dialogue. Okay, a book that's people talking back and forth, and it's excellent dialogue. The best dialogue book that you can find. Go get that book, open it to the page where there's some excellent dialogue going on, and read it out loud. Just read the words and see if that dialogue sounds natural. See if it sounds like two people actually talking. I'll bet that no matter how good the dialogue is, no matter how rich it is, it will never sound like actual human conversation. This is a big insight, okay? No matter how good the dialogue is in a book, and I'm not talking about a textbook, I'm talking about like a novel, a really good, juicy book that you like to read, the dialogue will never sound like regular speech, like two people actually talking back and forth. The reason why is because conversation is far more rich and dynamic than the written word could ever be. Okay? Conversational English, just conversation in general, in any language, has got far more information in it than could ever be written in a book. Now, it's important that you've studied the building blocks of English for years. It actually is important, and it's very good that you've learned lists of vocabulary, that you've studied grammar, that you've studied syntax, or the structure of a sentence. But those are just building blocks, and those alone don't tie together your understanding of English the way that conversation can. In conversation, you find all kinds of interesting pieces that you don't find in the written word. You find things like false starts, casual enunciation. You find hesitant noises. So a false start may be, well, that's a false start. That's like the beginning of a thought, the beginning of a sentence, that if you don't know what that means or you don't know how that fits together, it would be very confusing for you. We find casual enunciation. So in English, there's kind of a popular phrase that's going around now where people say, "Sup?" Hey, sup? Well, sup is a combination of two words, what's up. Okay, and what's up is another way of saying, hi, how are you, how's it going? But sup is the combination of two words. It's a casual enunciation. It's a casual way of kind of combining two words that just don't make sense and wouldn't make sense on a written page, and they also don't make sense if you've never heard that word before. Another word that uses casual enunciation is pretty popular these days. It's kind of a slang term. It's saying cool. Cool. Well, that word is cool without the L. Okay, so C-O-O is cool. In fact, the other day, a friend of mine was texted me on the phone. I said, hey, I'm going to be a few minutes late, and he texted back, cool, C-O-O. Okay, well, if I didn't know what that meant, if I was just trying to read that on a page, I wouldn't know, I have no idea what that meant. And here's an interesting piece. In conversation, there are no periods. There are no periods in conversation. Typically, a conversation goes back and forth, and the period, the end of a sentence that is the end of a thought on the written page, well, there really are no periods in conversation. When one person quits talking, the other person generally starts right away, and you don't see periods. But there are commas. Okay, so we're going to talk about that later, but there are no periods in conversation, but there are commas. Yeah. So a good analogy for this idea that a textbook can never be as rich as a conversation, it can never give you as much information, is the analogy is, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is a very famous movie in America. It came out in the 1930s, and it was a beautiful movie. Well, the first 10 or 15 minutes of The Wizard of Oz is in black and white. And there was a reason for that. They were trying to show that the land where Dorothy grew up, back in Kansas, was kind of black and white, kind of drab, kind of boring. Well, the house gets caught in a tornado, and then it comes swirling back down. And when Dorothy leaves the house and walks across the threshold into the land of Oz, suddenly the movie goes to all color. Well, in that land of color, you get more information in the movie. You can understand the personalities of the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and Dorothy. You can literally understand who they are better in that color world. And so the analogy is the world you've studied before, the textbook world, the vocabulary, the lists, the grammar and syntax you've studied before. That's like that black and white world that Dorothy lived in. And the world of conversation, of rich, dynamic, interactive English conversation, is like a color world that you live in, that you can walk into. Okay, so we teach conversational English because it's richer, there's more there, there's more information, there's more that you can get out of it. And it also can help you tie together some of those black and white concepts that you did before. So I hope that helps you understand the conversational learning style that we teach at Let's Do English. Okay, so let's do a quick little overview of day 4, 5, and 6. Day 4, 5, and 6 are going to be fluent, fast techniques. We've got 6 techniques for you that you can go out into the world and learn English really quickly. It can really help you tie this stuff together. And then on day 7, we're going to do our interviews with cultural creatives. Zach, cultural creative, amazing guy, a lot to teach us. Okay, that's the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you tomorrow.